Our lesson today is on theoretical probability. So, this is the ratio of the number of ways a desired outcome can occur to the number of total possible outcomes. Okay? So, let's write down this as a fraction because that's how we're going to take a look at it. So, theoretical probability is equal to the number of ways the desired outcome can occur. So, what we want divided by the total number of outcomes. Okay, so let's say we wanted to calculate the probability of, you know, picking a red ball out of a bag, and we have a bag of 20 balls and there's only one red ball in there. We could calculate, okay, the theoretical probability of us getting that red ball, and that's what we're going to be working on today. Okay, so when we talk about probability, we use a percentage, decimal, or a fraction to indicate the probability. Okay, in any of those ways, we usually express it uh, to people. So, for example, you might read that there's an 80% chance of rain. Okay, so you could also write 80% as a number, 0.8, or you could write it as a fraction. 80% is 80 out of 100, or it could be 8 out of 10. Okay, the chances are 8 out of 10 or 4 out of 5. Okay, so these are all equal fractions. These fractions are equal to this number. We know that that is equal to 80%. So the probability can range from 0, which is 0%, okay, or totally impossible. Okay, and that's how we think about it. That's the word that we use. Okay, impossible for 0%, to 1 or 100%, which means that it is certain that is going to happen. Okay, there's a 100% possibility that it will happen. So we are certain that it's going to happen. So the value of probability is in terms of likelihood. So let's take a look at this scale here. We're looking at 0%, okay, which is impossible, all the way up to 100%, which is certain. Okay, everything else in between, so here's 10%, 20%, etc., stand for very unlikely, unlikely, even chance is kind of in the middle. Well, even chance is 50-50. And then we go on to likely and very likely, okay, at the end. So I would say 80 to 90%, very likely somewhere in there, even chance being at 50, somewhere in the middle, very unlikely, and unlikely being in between 0 and 40%. Okay, so let's take a look at this first example. And this is just us using the vocabulary from up here, okay, to describe the likelihood of each of these events here. So let's take a look at the first one. The temperature will be greater than 25 degrees tomorrow. Well, the way that it's been looking, it hasn't been around 25 degrees in a while. So I would say, excuse me, for this one, it's unlikely. Okay. Now we could take a look at the weather network and kind of actually find those percentage and maybe get a better idea. For letter B, you will write something in the next 5 minutes. I would say that this is certain because you are to be writing down the note for this lesson. For C, the Toronto Raptors will win the Stanley Cup this year. This is impossible. Okay, because the Stanley Cup is for hockey, and we know the Toronto Raptors play basketball. You will have a quiz this week. Well, I don't really remember our quiz days, but I don't think so. However, you never know at the end of the week. So I'm going to write unlikely. Okay, but there is a small chance that maybe we could have a quiz this week. Now we're going to start taking a look at figuring out actual probabilities of things to happen. Let's take a look at some examples. So here we have three examples. The first one is a coin that is tossed. So we know that we have heads or tails on both sides. So let's talk about the possible outcomes. So I toss the coin. My two possible outcomes is that it could land on heads or it could land on tails. Okay. So in total, the only possible outcomes there's two. Okay, it's either going to be one or the other. So the probability of getting heads would be just one of those two options. So we'd have the fraction one of the options out of the two total options. Our decimal for that, we can use our calculator, but we should know that a half is 0.5. And then that 0.5 we know represents 50%. Okay. So now let's take a look at the next question. We have a six-sided dice. So that's the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on each side. What's the probability of rolling an even number? Okay, so let's think about our possible outcomes. There are, when I roll the dice, I could get a 1, a 2, 3, 4, a 5, or a 6. When I think about the even numbers, I know that there's 1, 2, 3 of them. So when I go to write the fraction, the total number of outcomes that are possible is 6, but the even number outcomes, there's 3 of them. Okay, so I have 3 out of 6 as my probability as a fraction, which we can reduce to 1 over 2. We know that with 1 over 2, our decimal is 0.5. So I have a 50% chance of getting an even number. Okay, let's take a look at our last one here. We have a class consists of 8 boys and 12 girls. If the class president is randomly chosen, what is the probability that the class president gets a girl? Okay, so let's take a look at our totals. So we have 8 boys and we have 12 girls. So we know in total we have 20 kids. Okay, so I have total 20 kids, and when we're talking about the girls, we only have 12 girls. So if I want to know the probability of choosing the 12 girls, that would give me 12 options out of the 20 kids. Okay, I could reduce this fraction to 3 out of 5. When I find my decimal, I get 0.6. So I have a 60% chance of choosing a girl for the class president. Okay, so when we're looking at probability of something happening, what I want you to focus on are two things, okay? The total number of outcomes, okay, or the possible outcomes, and then the desired outcomes, which is like, oh, if we want a girl, what's the probability? If we want an even number, what's the probability? If we want to have it land on heads, what's the probability, okay? And that's where we get our fraction from. We're going to take another look at how to figure out possibilities so that we can calculate probabilities. Okay, so we're going to start with this question. We're going to draw a tree diagram showing the possible gender outcomes for a family with 3 kids. Okay, so tree diagrams are a great way to organize our information and take a look at the possibilities for different situations. Okay, so if I have the parents at the top here, and we have our first kid. Okay, the option is it's either going to turn out to be a boy or a girl. Okay, and this is our first child. Then I go on to have my second child, and I know I could again have a boy or a girl for my second child. Okay, so this is kind of showing us, so if I had a boy first and then I have a second child, it's going to be a boy or a girl. Or if I had a girl first, I had a second child, it's either going to be a boy or a girl. So I'm trying to figure out all the possible combinations. So this is, oops, let me go back to my pen. This is our second child happening here. And then when I have my third, I could do a boy or a girl here, boy or a girl here, boy or girl, and boy or girl. So this tree diagram will show me all the possibilities. Okay, so let me go back to my highlighter for a minute. So one possibility is to go from here to here to here. So I have a boy, then a boy. Then another possibility is boy, boy, girl. Then another possibility is boy, girl, boy. Then another possibility is boy, girl, girl. And we could keep going. So we just take a look at the lines and see how many possibilities there are in total. So then what we can do is we can take a look, and at the bottom of our tree diagram, that's the number of possible ways that we could have 3 kids. Okay, so here's our number of possibilities at the bottom of kind of the order of the kids that we could have. So in total, I have 8 possible outcomes. Okay. So we can write out those 8 possible outcomes going back to the way that I highlighted to start. So my first possible outcome is boy, boy, boy. Okay, so I can write that down. So boy, boy, boy. Okay, that's the first one. So my second one, I would go over here and it would be boy, boy, girl. And my third one would be boy, girl, boy. And my fourth option would be boy, girl, girl. My fifth possibility would be girl, boy, boy. My sixth would be girl, boy, girl. My seventh would be girl, girl, boy. And my eighth would be girl, girl, girl. Okay, so these are all our 8 possible possibilities for a family with 3 children. So now we're going to take a look at the distribution table, okay, for these different possibilities, okay? So like our desired outcome, you can say. So the first one we're going to take a look at is what are the possibilities of us having 0 males, okay? So no males at all. All right, well, when I go back and take a look at either my list of all the possibilities, or you can take a look at your tree diagram. The only time where we have no possibilities is this one right here. So that only happens one time. So then when I think about what's the probability of me having 3 girls, my probability is 1 time out of the 8 total possibilities. So I have a probability of 1/8. Okay, so now let's take a look at um, the number, whoops, that's supposed to be a highlighter. So the option or the frequency that it happens where we only have 1 boy. Okay, so we can go back, take a look at our options for 1 boy. So here we have 1 boy here, so boy, girl, girl. Here we have 1 boy here. Here we have 1 boy here. So in total, there's 3 times that it could happen where we only have 1 boy. So this would be 3 out of the total possibilities, which is 8. Okay, now let's take a look and see if we can find out the probability of having 2 boys. So 2 boys happens here, 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 and that's it. So I have 3. And again, that's 3 out of 8. And then the possibility where we have all 3 boys, well, that only happens the 1 time. Okay, so I have 1, and the probability of having all 3 boys is just an eighth. Okay, and you can see here that we should have a total of 8 possibilities, right? And again, if I were to add up all of these fractions here, I'd have 100%, right? So this covers all of our possibilities with 3 kids. Obviously, I can't have 4 males, 4 male kids with a family with 3 kids. Okay, so we would stop there. We're going to take a look at one more example that has to do with cards. So a lot of people use decks of cards. Well, obviously, people use decks of cards to gamble, and so people are really interested in finding out the probability of, choosing one particular card or one particular suit. So here's an example. We're going to take a look at the probability of drawing a red numbered card. So two things here. We have red and numbered. So that means not a face card from a deck of cards. So a regular card deck has 52 cards in total. We have 26 red ones and 26 black ones. And each of the groups have cards, so 2 to 10, and then we have Jack, King, Queen, and Ace for each suit. Okay? So each of the four groups has those ones. Again, we want the red numbered cards. So we have 26 red, and we only want the numbers. So our desired outcome here, so when we're taking a look at the cards 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way up to 10, there's 9 cards that are numbered. And then we're going to multiply that by 2 because we want all the red ones. So we have the 9 cards that are hearts and the 9 cards that are diamonds. So in total, we're looking at pulling out 18 cards that are red and numbered. Okay, so that's how many we have. So we talked about that there's 52 cards in total. So if there's a specific 18 that I want, then my probability of taking one of those cards out of the deck is going to be 18 out of our 52, which is our total, okay? We can reduce this if we want to 9 out of 26. Ultimately, we're going to use our calculator, multiply it by 100 to get that percentage. So this is actually equal to 34.6%. So we would say, therefore, the probability of drawing a red numbered card